The boardroom was already buzzing when the elevator doors opened. Men in sharp suits murmured over spreadsheets. A woman tapped her watch impatiently. At the head of the gleaming mahogany table sat Richard Hammond, CEO of Hammond Global, known equally for his business empire and his legendary impatience. He glanced toward the door. "Where is that janitor? He was supposed to clean up the conference room an hour ago. We have investors coming." A timid knock interrupted the chatter. Everyone turned to see a small boy, maybe 10 or 11, standing in the doorway, clutching a battered mop and a faded bucket. His clothes were a little too big for him, his sneakers scuffed white. "Sorry," the boy mumbled, his eyes darting around the room. "My dad's sick, so I came instead." The room fell silent. Richard's brow furrowed. "What do you mean, you came instead?" The boy set down the bucket and straightened his back. "My dad's the janitor here. He got really sick last night, couldn't even stand up this morning. But he said he had to come, 'cause you don't skip work when people are counting on you." A few executives exchanged uneasy glances. "So," the boy continued, his voice barely above a whisper, "I told him I'd come for him. I know how to mop. And I'll make sure everything's real clean before your big meeting." Someone in the back snorted quietly. A woman whispered, "Just call maintenance." But Richard raised a hand to silence them. His gaze fixed on the boy, who was already moving, dragging his little bucket across the marble floor. He wrung out the mop and began to scrub, methodically, corner to corner. At first, the room stayed awkwardly quiet, save for the soft squeak of the mop. But then something strange happened. People noticed how careful he was, stopping to wipe even the tiniest smudge on a chair leg, picking up crumbs no one else would have bothered with. He even stacked the chairs neatly when no one asked him to. When he finished, the room sparkled. The boy straightened up, a faint blush on his cheeks, and said, that's what my dad always does. He says no job's too small to take pride in." Richard swallowed hard, something tugging at his chest. "You said he's sick?" Richard finally asked. The boy nodded. "He's got some kind of infection. We don't really have money to see a doctor yet. But he says he'll be fine. He always says that." For a long moment, Richard didn't speak. Then he stood, walked over, and crouched to meet the boy's eyes. "What's your name, son?" "Eli." "Well, Eli," Richard said, his voice softening, "you just taught everyone in this room a lesson about integrity and love. More than all the memos and meetings I've sat through this year." He stood, turned to his executives, and declared, "Hammond Global is covering Eli's father's medical bills. Effective immediately. And we're doubling the janitorial staff's salary. I want every single person in this company to understand, no one is invisible. No one's job is too small. Not here. Not ever." The room erupted in applause, but Eli just stared at him, wide-eyed. Then, slowly, a shy smile broke across his face. By the time Richard escorted him out to the lobby, the boy whispered, "Thank you, sir. My dad's gonna be so happy." Richard watched him go, feeling something shift inside himself, a quiet reminder that the worth of a man isn't measured in boardrooms or bank accounts, but in the pride he takes in his work, and the love he inspires in his children. That afternoon, Richard cancelled his other meetings and went to visit his own father, whom he hadn't seen in years. And somewhere, in a modest little apartment on the other side of town, a janitor woke up from his fever to see his son sitting proudly at his bedside, telling him what had happened, proof that sometimes, the smallest hands carry the greatest strength. Because kindness echoes. And love, always finds a way. A heartfelt, inspiring story reminding us all, no one is too small to make a difference, and no act of love ever goes unnoticed.